So with BlizzCon, was there any other takeaways or anything else that stood out for you guys with it besides what we've already talked about?
I think that was the major. I mean, for me at least, Diablo stuff. I didn't really look into the Overwatch stuff or the Hearthstone or stuff like that. But
briefly, Overwatch they talked about maps that they were designing, and they seemed very excited to be able to talk about it. I just watched it briefly just to see if there was other things I could pick up. Not a big Overwatch guy, but I play from time to time. And they had two maps. One was Rome and one was Manhattan. And well, we know Manhattan, so it was pretty cool to see it done in a slightly futuristic way. So you get to see the way they implemented it, and that's going to be the maps. You'll be running around shooting people. Right. It looks really cool. Other takeaways. There was Hearthstone. I haven't played Hearthstone too much in recent, but they mentioned Back to the Barrens or something like that, and I think it's like a throwback because everything's been like classic, Burning Crusade. So the Barrens was always like the spot to be, and anyone who's played World of Warcraft back in the day in vanilla, and even still to this day, whenever you're in Barrens, you might get a Chuck Norris joke, and it was only in the Barrens that this would happen. It was like it's a culture thing. Yep. Like you go in the Barrens, you'll eventually see one. Just stay there long enough, and people will start throwing out those jokes. And that's the only place in this massive world that people do it.
It's so funny.
It's crazy. Like people make sure to be like, "Yep, Chuck Norris did this." Blah blah. It's always only in that zone. Like that's when you know you're a community. Like, oh, we're here, Chuck Norris time. Other than that,
Chuck Norris.
Was Orgrimmar in the Barrens?
Orgrimmar was attached to the Barrens. It was in Durotar.
Oh, right. It wasn't far from there.
No, you'd walk out of Orgrimmar into Durotar and then right over the water.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, did they do any like funny things with any of the games, like music videos type things or anything like that? Or have any cosplay videos from
they did.
People that turned them in or something?
They did. They had there was one that made me laugh. So they did one where it was Battle for Azeroth. It was like the Horde, Sylvanas stands across the other side with Anduin, and then they did a comical skit where they had like I can't think it's a chow or something, a big white fluffy dog, or an Akita type deal. I think it was a chow, where they did a thing where they go, "Let me speak to your person that's going to be your diplomat or whatever." And so Sylvanas is talking, and they had a guy sitting at a table with his hands like this going, but it was just the chow head. The dog is literally the dog going. Like it was a dog just trained to sit still, and they're going like, let's make a deal, blah blah blah. And he takes out like a dinner tray thing and pulls off the thing, and it's a bone sitting there like this big meaty bone, like whatever. And he's sitting there like, and the dog was good, just sitting there. She's like, this is what you want, and then all of a sudden like he's like, and she makes more. It was just funny the way they did it. I laughed. I literally did. I was like, all right, that's funny. But on a sad note, the South Park episode of World of Warcraft was the
classic episode.
Classic episode. There was a person who came to BlizzCon who did the guy who was the one killing everyone in World of Warcraft. As the line goes, how do you kill that which just does not live?
Really?
Or has no life, excuse me.
He came in cosplay as the
guy
from...
this guy comes in as that guy, brings up the table, sits there and goes like this. He did the whole thing. It was really good. But sad news, that guy came a long time ago. He passed, so they did a memo. Really? Yeah, it was sad to see.
And they did a tribute thing for him?
Tribute to him, yeah. Because that was really, like, they came up there and everyone loved it. That was funny.
He would always cosplay that character, right?
Yeah, like, that was funny. He did that, and it was always good, but yeah. So we found out he passed.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, that's a shame. But, I mean, that's how long this goes back, and,
But that's good, though, that they did a tribute type of thing for it. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You were mentioning a tribute, actually, too, right? Wasn't you saying something about Robin Williams, right?
Oh, yeah. They did have that. I don't know if it's still in the game, though, for World of Warcraft.
I don't know. It's been a while.
6 years ago, I believe, or 7 years ago at this point. I think it was, unfortunately, when, God rest his soul, when he passed away, they put a tribute in the World of Warcraft game for him. And I think it was some sort of genie type of statue or NPC in the game. To like represent his, Aladdin character, and
I don't remember.
Maybe some other characters, but it was hard to find from what I've seen. I think it was hard to find.
There's also another thing in the game too for, wow, I feel really bad. I can't remember the name. There was a popular streamer. He played a lot of World of Warcraft and Hearthstone, things like that, and he passed away. They did a thing for him. I remember years ago, when I was playing, I don't remember what expansion, if it even wasn't, it might have been a vanilla. Someone passed and they let Blizzard know, I guess, saying we're going to cancel the account, like whoever it was passed away. And it was an Alliance player, actually. So they said that they're going to have for a day or whatever during a certain time period, they're going to have like an in-game kind of viewing where they had like a statue or the person's character laying in, what was the city for the Night Elves?
Oh, I was going to say Rivendell.
No. It's slipping my mind. Not Ardenweald. I can't think. That's Shadow.
Yeah, I know what you mean, though. It's like a lot of blues and a lot of, yeah.
So the tree. So they had wow, it's really bad. I can't remember. That's killing me. They had a viewing type thing going on there. And I remember, in honor of them, we went as the Horde. And we'd go there, we'd trudge through, like, for some of the areas that we had to go as my character, it was like you're hitting elites for the city that would kick your ass. So we tried to find a way, and we got our way all the way up. And, like, the Alliance were watching us, and they could attack us and kill us anytime because we were on a PvP server. And we were just like, I would keep bowing, or I'd keep doing /kneel because you couldn't talk to the Alliance. It would come out, So I'd keep bowing, kneeling, and they realized, like, oh, they're here. Like, they were fighting us, and then they stopped. They're like, they're here for the funeral. And we'd go in and, like, literally we'd go up one by one. They allowed us. It was, like, a really cool respect thing. Like, they allowed us and they protected us. And not really protect us because they can't stop us from their NPCs killing us. But they would stop other people from attacking us. Yeah. And then we'd walk through and I would do, like, a /kneel. And everyone would do a /kneel, then go. And then eventually, enough people got to know, like, as we're done viewing, everyone's meeting back outside the area when we got to safety. But you know what? It is World of Warcraft, and in this person's honor, for the Horde. So we all just start battling outside. The Alliance characters started jumping us. We started jumping them. It was fun. Funny. But, it was really nice. Like, right. You can't even talk to the players, but they know what was going on. And just by /kneeling or bowing, they understood.
Yeah.
That's good that they've done things like that for players and other people and such in the game. It's a really nice little touch that they've done.
You know what? They make a lot of money off. They make it for us, right? I mean, everyone likes to make games for money, and Activision wants the money. Activision doesn't totally, in my mind, care too much about me or you or him. Like we're just numbers. We're like $50-$60. That's what we are. Until microtransactions, then we might be worth more. But that's the way they see us. But like the guy who's sitting drawing the art, like we can talk about that for a little bit too. The guy that was sitting drawing the art, or the guy who likes developing the game, they want us to grab it and they want to watch us. One thing that was mentioned, the one guy was talking about was crazy. He was like, Lost Vikings, I think it was. He said, we put it on a thing for people.
That's one of their original games, right?
Yes.
On the arcade.
They're giving us the arcade is coming out. I think it's for free. It's Blackthorn, Lost Vikings, and Rock and Roll Racing.
Yeah.
You can get that on the Blizzard store, I think, for free. But the guy was like, I remember when we were younger, we set up a thing at a convention or somewhere for people to pick up the controller and play Lost Vikings. And they said it was a really great game. I never played Lost Vikings.
No, me neither.
But the guy was like, it's a really good game. And we learned a valuable lesson. When we put it up, this 14-year-old kid came up, picked up the controller, and the first thing you do in the game is supposedly, like he said, move left or right, whatever, and there's like a thing you got to get over. And if you don't jump over it right, you fall into water or something, you die. And it was a strategy type game. So supposedly the kid went over, jumped, fell in, did something, and just looked at it, went, and walked away in about 10 seconds of play. So he said, the one thing that we've learned, not only is it like important that we want people to play our games, because like this kid I hope he came back to it because it's a really great game, but is like make the character or person feel powerful in the beginning and then bring on the difficulty.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And that, you know what, I sat back and I'm like, you know what, that's a smart idea, because you know what, sometimes if I know what I'm getting into, like if you advertise, this is the game that's going to kill you and kick your ass, when I buy that game, I'm expected to hit start, move forward, and get my ass kicked. And that's okay. But if you just pick up a game that doesn't, and you just die in the first 5 seconds, like, what the hell, what am I getting into?
It's going to turn people off.
Yeah,
it's a turn off. So I like that they grabbed that aspect, and it's always like that in these Blizzard games. Right. Diablo, it's so easy. You walk out there, you beat the crap out of things, no problem, you got nothing on. getting stronger to do this. Oh, I found a sword. It's double the damage. All of a sudden, you're like, and everything's just dying. This is great. Then the difficulty goes. And all of a sudden it's like shit hard.
Then it becomes more strategy.
But you're invested and you've learned. And now you go, how do I overcome this? Not that when I walk out the gate, like,
what do I need to progress further?
Path of Exile is a game that can do that exact thing to you where you get your ass kicked. You walk outside, you're not paying attention, you're dead. I mean, I've walked out into the first area of the zone, killed someone, like, whatever, and then I see this witch, and I have no idea. All of a sudden, firestorm in my head, and I stood in it just a little too long, I was dead. I was playing the game for like 20 minutes.
Like a hardcore character?
It was a hardcore character.
Oh,
so,
sucks.
But you know what? I play hardcore, so let me guess. I learned a little something. First thing was be very careful with that or run the fuck. So, that it's good when you got to know what you're in for. If you're ready for the hardcore experience where it's going to be really ass kicking, that's great. Just be prepared. But you don't want like a kid that's 14 to pick up a game. Be like, it's a really great game. Once you get into it, and you just go to dip. Maybe you pick it up a second time, you get 30 seconds further, and you go, wow. Let me try something new. Exactly. Unless they're the mindset where like, if something beats me, I can't lose. Then they're going to stay. But that's not many people.
Right. It's not a lot of people.
No. And a lot of people want to come home from work and they don't want to be like, man, I just spent 3 hours after work playing this game to get nowhere because I'm getting my ass handed to me. That's not fun either. So I get the whole thing where I like the games to be hard and good. And I also get the other aspect where you don't want to do it. And I respect that. So that was something big came up. Sorry, rambling. But there was a lot that I watched that I liked.
Yeah.
Any other takeaways? Any other takeaways for you guys from the BlizzCon?
No, I think, listen, if it was only Diablo 2 news, it would have been great anyway. So.
The other thing I saw was like the guy, they showed him going through the Hive Mother that he was creating. You see that?
Hive Mother, you mean in...
He was drawing the Hive Mother.
No.
So they had one of the artists on who's been with the company for 15 years, I think he said something like that, or 18 years. And he was going through and they showed him using Flash and... Not Flash. What is it that you use? Paint or something? Not Paint.
Adobe?
Something like that. Something like that. He was using one of those programs. He's going through and he's learning he's showing us how he's like drawing the concept. And they were talking about how you just can't get attached to something. Don't go ape crazy in making something because what's going to wind up happening is you're going to draw something so great. And everyone else may look at you and be like,
yeah.
And you're like, you're heartbroken. Like, no, they're going to love this. They're going to love it. And then, you get...
And then somebody's like,
someone just took a, step on your nards.
Yeah.
But, so they talked about, like, you can't let it go, whatever. So that's why, like, they'll draw a certain way, blotch it out, go back, and then show it to someone. Be like, what do you think? And then they're like, oh, that looks cool. Go. Then he goes a little further. And you bring a bunch of reiterations of it. So he was drawing this spider-like creature that was like a centipede eventually. And then he also drew it, like, standing up. So he's like, all right, well, we're going to make it. So it's called the Hive Mother. Shows the character this big. And then the Hive Mother stands about this big. So basically she crawls around like a centipede, but then she can veer up like this. So it looks like something we might be, who knows, seeing in D4. Cool. I don't know. It looked cool. It looked creepy. Probably. It looked really creepy. Yeah. It looked really creepy. So that's a cool boss. Imagine you going through like a spider dungeon, but it turns into this like centipede spider thing.